Hey guys, Heather here. So today we're going to be coloring this super cute Magnolia Beanstalk Tilda image. Isn't she adorable? And in this kit this time I put in a large accessory stamp, so when you make cards later you'll be able to have her sit on something. And it is my choice. I picked the stamp for her to sit on, but she looks cute on both of the stamps that are available. So if you want one of those kits, head over to the store and grab them, because these are even more limited than normal, because I ordered the stamp like forever ago and I didn't order that many. So if you want one, head over there and grab her up. I'll put a link down in the description box. Also, if you have a question about the coloring, make sure to leave me a comment after you're done watching the video, and I will get back to you on that. I'm happy to answer questions. So I've stamped my image on Neenah 80-pound solar white cardstock with Memento Tuxedo black ink. So let's color. So let's start out by coloring our skin. Since we're going to cut her out, we don't have to outline her this time. So for our skin, we're going to use E11, E21, E00, E000. For our cheeks, I'm going to use R43, R20, and R30. So let's go down here and start on her leg. So I'm going to start with E11 first, and let's go right next to this little ponytail she's got right here. She's got a little bit of her hair showing on her leg. I'm going to go down that, and she's got some little shadow bumps there. I'm going to exaggerate those a little bit and put a little bit more color there and work my way down here to her foot. And then she's also got this little knee cap right here that I'm going to go around. Same for this side. I'm going to go up here underneath of her skirt. And I'm going to get this knee thing on. I'm going to bring it all the way around because she's got some shadows right here that I want to just fill in and exaggerate. Then I'm going to go with E21. And let's brush right over the top of our E11 we just laid down. And I'm going to bring that around over here. And this time I'm going to bring this shadow up here onto her foot. Okay, same for this side. I'm going to bring this around over here so that there's some, because there's some shadow bumps right there that the artist put on there for us. I'm going to bring that down a little bit there because she's got some more there on the back side of her leg where it looks like it's kind of tipping up. She's got a little wrinkle in there, her skin there. And then E00. And bring this leg up a little bit more. And let's do this side. And then I'm going to fill it in with my E000. So I tend to go clear across the entire thing. Even though I'm only doing this little bit, I tend to bring my pen clear across her leg. That just helps me blend the colors all together and soften any lines I may have left. Alright, let's move up here and we will do her arm. So again, I'm going to start with E11. And she's got a little bit of her arm underneath of her sleeve and the top of that bow right here. And I'm just going to work my way down along her hand, down to the bottom down here. And then she's got a little bit of a wrist bump right here that I'm going to color. So for this arm, I'm going to go right next to her sleeve and her face. And we'll go underneath of her arm. And then I want to do the underside of her hand, like that. Okay, then we go with E21. And same for this side. We'll add a little bit more color. Flicking away from that last color, just softening that line up. And then E00. And I'm going to bring this line up here towards her elbow a little bit more because her bottom of her arm is going to be a little bit more shadowed. And then I want to fill it in with my E00. Alright, so that goes up here to her face and her neck. So again, I'm going to go with my E11. And let's give her neck just a little dab of color in here. And then for her face, I want to go with this color right here where her cheek bumps out, underneath of her hand, and along her bangs. And I'm trying to dip in there where her bangs are showing underneath of her face. Her skin shows, I mean. And I'm going to go along this cheek like this, and I'm going to give her ear just a little dab in there. Next, I'm going to grab E21. I'm going to fill in her neck. And then I'm going to soften this line up here next to her face. And if she's got a little bit of skin showing, I'm going to go ahead and go up here into her hair a little bit more. And I actually want to bring this color around on this side of her face. Now I'm going to do E00. I'm going to turn my girl a little bit here. And then I'm just going to go right along that line and add some color. And then E00. And I don't worry that it looks, it's blotchy because I'm going to go back over it again, but now I'm going to add cheek color. So I've grabbed my R43 first, and I use the lines, the little dots she already has on her cheek as a guide. And then I'm going to put a little bit of this color in the center of those little dots. And then I'm going to grab R20. And we just want to soften those edges. And R30's next. And then I'm going to go back with some more skin color. So I'm going to grab E21. And we'll do this side here first. I'll turn her a little bit so I can flick a little bit. And then E00. And then E00. And then I think I'll pink her cheeks up just a little bit more, so I'm going to take my R43 again. R20. Whoops. R30. And then I'd like to take my my E00 and just go over those again. I'm just going to brush right over her entire face. Now let's go do her hair, and for that we're going to use E42, 41, and 40. I'm going to start with E42. And I'm going to add a little bit of this underneath of her hat. So I'm just going to flick some color away from that hat. Add add some shadow in there. And I'm going to go over here. And I actually, this I think is supposed to be hat or hair too. So I'm just going to color this little section here underneath of her hat in. And then I want to flick back up from where her hand is and her bangs. So we're going to add some color down here. And where it comes away from her neck. And then she's got a couple of little bumps over here that I want to add a little bit of color to. Okay, and then I want to do her braid. So I'm going to do underneath where the bow comes out or is tied. And then the center of each one of these little curly cues. Call them curly cues. And maybe a little bit where it's coming out at the top of that one. And then let's get this side. Then I'm going to go with E41, and we just want to add some more color on there. So I'm just going to go right back over the top and add some color along her hat brim and her bangs. I kept her hair pretty light this time. And then I filled it in with E40. And then I like to go back with my darkest shade and add a little bit of shadow in again, so I've grabbed E42. And I'm just using the tip of my pen to make some streaks. Alright, since we have the browns out, let's jump down here and do her boots and the accent on her shirt right here. So for that, we're going to use E44, 43, 42, and 41. I'm going to start with my E44. And let's go down here and do this boot first. So I want to go down the back of her boot. And then she's got a little bump right here. So I'm actually going to take and make that a little bit bigger. Exaggerate it. And then let's continue down this side of the boot. And again, here's another little bump out. So I'm going to make that kind of like the sole of her moccasin here. And like that. And maybe add a little dark down here. And she's got a little spot here where her foot kind of creases it. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to put a little streak right here in the center of this little dip down. And let's do right here where her leg is touching her boot right there. Let's do over here too. Right here she's got a little bump in, so I'm going to color that. Remember, exaggerating it. Then this side, we're going to do this side next to her foot. That little crease where it dips in. This side. And let's come down here and exaggerate some of these. Like that. I think I'll maybe do a little bit over here. Same for this side. Let's bring this side down, bring it in so it causes a little more shadows there. And this line where her foot is creasing it. And underneath this side. And then I'm going to go with E43. And I just want to soften that line, so I'm just going to go right along the edge of it. And this one I'm going to bring underneath that little folded over part of her slipper, or her moccasin. And continue on over here. Next is E42. just want to add some color. Softening our lines as we go. And then I'm going to fill it in with E41 all the way. So just going to go. Uh-oh, the mailman must have showed up. Alright, sorry about that. Let the dogs finish barking, then we'll just get started again. Alright, so we're going to take our E41, and I just want to fill this all the way in. Get that side, and this side. And this side still looks a little blotchy, so I'm going to go over it again. And let's do this side again. There, that looks better. Now, for the inside of her shirt up here, let's go ahead and do E44. So for this little accent thing here, so I'm going to use E44 on this little line she's got on the outside. So I'm going to do right underneath of her collar. And then down here where it kind of dips down into a little V, I'm going to grab that. Then I'm going to do E42. And then for E42, I also want to do inside. I want to get started with some shadow inside on the little section here. Next is E40. Whoops, that was E43. Now E42. So I'm going to fill in this outside section. And then we want to add some color in here. And then E41 to fill it in. And I'm going to use this color too to fill in these little strings. Let's do her hat and her dress next. For that, we're going to use RV 95, 93, and 91. I'm going to start up here at her hat with RV 95. And I'm going to give a little dab of color right here, and right here where it's folded under. I want to give that a little dab. And then I'm going to add this color again over here underneath of this feather. Just this little section of hat that's showing up here, I'm just going to fill that in. And then up here where her hat is coming out from underneath the fold, I'm going to add some color. And this looks like part of the, maybe it's tipped up where it's folded there in the back, so I'm going to add that. And I actually want to bring this dark color up this way a little bit and feather it in. And right here, it looks like there's like a little dip. I'm going to add that right here with some color. Like that. And then I'm going to grab E43 next. And we're going to add some of this color right on here. Soften that line. I'm going to get that little section that's poking up. And then we want to add this. And I'm going to go along the bottom here where it's touching her hair. I think I'll bring it up to the feather here. And there's a little section right here that shows in between her little buckle. And then I'm going to fill it in with RV91. And I also wanted to use these colors on this little circle thing here, so let's do RV95. And I'm going to make it a little bit darker, so I'm going to do halfway around, and then I'm going to fill it in with RV93. Okay. For her shirt. We're going to again start with RV95. And I'm going to do underneath of her face and along this little accent of her shirt. And then I want to go next to her hair braid. That. And over here, I'm going to add a little bit of shadow. And under here where it looks like it's going underneath of her leg. And here's a wrinkle. And here's a wrinkle. And this is underneath, so we're going to paint that. And this is underneath. And I'm also going to bring this up like this. Kind of exaggerate those bumps a little bit. And here's a crease, we'll color that. Okay, and then I'm going to go RV93. And I'm going to go over here and go next to this braid. And then let's just add some color on top of this and the last color and soften those lines. And I think I'll bring this over the top of her knee. And then I want to fill it in with my RV91. Turn her a little bit here. I think I'll go over it one more time. I went out the lines there a little bit, but that's okay because I'm going to cut her out. And then for a collar, I'm just going to fill it in with this RV91. Next, let's go up here and do this cute little feather in her hat. For that, we're going to use BG13, YG41, BG11, and for the stem, we're going to use E42. I'm going to go ahead and just do E42 right now and color that stem in. And then I'm going to take BG13 and I'm going to outline my feather. Next, I'm going to add YG11, and that one I'm going to put next to the stem. And then I'm going to take my BG11 to just go over this entire section that was white and just kind of swirl it all together. I think I'll add a little bit more of my YG41 to the center here. Darken it up just a little bit more. And then I'll take my BG11 again and swirl around on that. And I also want to go down here and use these greens on the hair bows for her hair. So I'm going to start with my BG13. I'm going to do the center dot and then give each little bow a little slash of color. And then YG41. And then BG11 to fill it in. And add a little bit more on that one because I got some purple on that from her shirt. We'll just scrub it a little bit more. Push that color right back out. And I think I'll take my BG13 again Maybe just put a little bit more dark here in the middle. So there is our super cute Tilda, our Beanstalk Tilda all colored up. Isn't she adorable? And here again is the finished card. Super cute. So I added some Sharpie white paint pen for the cheeks, for the little dots on her cheeks, and some Spica glitter pen to her hair, and to this little feather up here, and this little circle on her little hat. I did that for the add some sparkles. So if you have a question, make sure to leave me a comment. I'm happy to get back to you on that. And if you want this kit, head over and grab one up before they're all gone. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. I hope you have a great day. Bye.